everyone, my name's Annette, and you might know me on social media as Nettersplays. Well, today I'm going to talk to you about my 10 by 10 challenge. It's a challenge where at the beginning of the year, I pick 10 games, and I'm going to challenge myself to play each one of those games 10 times by the end of the year. So, why am I doing this? The first reason I'm doing this is because I enjoy playing these games. And the second reason is also that I want to make sure that these games that are on my shelf, I get them on the table more often than not. So I want to replay these games a lot more and kind of get better at them too. I want to build better strategies and also introduce them to more people because I have to play these games 10 times each. So I'm going to go ahead and explain to you each one of those games, why I picked them, and also how far along I am since we're in the middle of the year. So the first game I'll talk to you about is Oh My Goods by Alexander Pfister. It's a 2 to 4 player game and it plays in about 15 to 30 minutes or so, depending on how many players you have. Why did I pick this game? So I picked this game up for this challenge simply because it's an easy game. When I don't really have the time and space to play a really big board game, this is just a simple little card game that I can easily pick up, throw in my purse, take it out here and there, and I can complete a challenge. So how do I document these games? Well, I do document them on BGG, and I also document them for this challenge by putting a little post-it note on them. And then I mark like how many plays I have every time I complete a play. So as you can see here, that way I can store the game on my shelf, and then I could see, you know, how far along I am and pick the one maybe that I haven't played that often this year. So that's a really neat way I found for myself to document the number of plays that I have. So this is Oh My Good. So yep, 7 down and only 3 more to go for this year. So I'm doing pretty good with this game. So the next game on this challenge is 7 Wonders Duel. Now 7 Wonders Duel is a 2-player only game. Now, this is the only 2-player only game on my list, and I picked this game up late at the end of last year, and I wanted to play this game a lot more. I really enjoyed it the first time I played it, and this is a game that Mitch and I both decided is a game that we can both sit on the table and try to get better at it, try to learn what's there, and also just challenge each other with the different ways of winning this game. There's 3 different ways of winning. You can win by points, you can win through military, or through science. So it offers different opportunities of how to win and how to play this game. So that's one of the reasons why we picked this game, is because there's a lot of opportunities to win, and each and every game is so different from one another. And we also wanted to learn the cards a little bit better and try to figure out how to be better with this game. So how far along are we with this game? So what the sticker says is we have 4 plays this year. So we have a couple of more games to play with this one. We're halfway through the year and we only have 4 games down, so we kind of need to pick up the pace with this one. The next game I wanted to talk to you about is Carcassonne. And Carcassonne is a 2 to 5 player game, and it plays in about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on how many players. And it's fairly simple and easy to pick up and learn. So this game is a tile laying game, where you have tiles in the game, and you place them down on the table, and you try to connect it with other tiles. So you try to connect a road to a road, or a castle to a castle wall. And so you're building this area by laying tiles down. It's fairly simple, and I haven't had a chance to put this game on the table too often, so this is why I kind of wanted to go back to my roots and play this game a little bit more often and try to strategically get better with it too. So it does have a strategy to it, so I wanted to get better with this game and just get it on the table. So that is Carcassonne, and let me tell you how many plays I have. So far I have 6 plays with this game, so I'm well above the halfway mark, so I'm doing fairly well with Carcassonne. The next game that I'm going to talk to you about is Glen More. Now, Glen More is a 2 to 5 player game, and it's also a tile laying game, just like Carcassonne. However, I think this game has a lot more strategy than just Carcassonne because of a couple of different things that it's adding to the mix. When you're playing Carcassonne, you're picking tiles from the face down pile or from a bag, but you're randomly choosing these tiles. In Glen More, you're picking and choosing what you're getting and what you're going to lay down. So you always have the option to pick and choose what you want to lay down. Another thing is that it also, whenever you lay a resource down, you're activating all these other tiles and you're producing resources. So resources are involved. Money is involved. Different actions and different ways of scoring in different phases. There's just a lot more in Glen More than just simple Carcassonne. Not saying that Carcassonne is a bad game, but Glen More has a little bit more meat to it. So this is why I wanted to play Glen More and add it to my challenge, just to compare it as well with Carcassonne. So right now I have 5 plays out of 10, so I'm right there on that halfway mark, which is really good because we're in June right now. So this is well on its way to being completed. It's on that halfway point, so I'm really happy with that. So Race for the Galaxy by Tom Lehman is my next game that I'm going to talk to you about. It's a 2 to 4 player game and it plays about 30 minutes, it says. If you know the game well, it will play faster. If you don't know the game so well, it might take a little longer. But Race for the Galaxy is one of my favorite games of all time. So I picked this game to be on my challenge simply because I want to play it more. I just love playing this game and I felt like it's a game that I can easily complete in this year by playing it 10 times. So I just wanted to add it to this whole challenge thing. The reason why I like this game so much is because it offers simultaneous play. So you're constantly working on something. You're constantly playing, and there's no downtime to this at all, really. Only when you're selecting what actions to play. You also have multi-use cards, so cards also resemble different things, whether it's resources. You can produce on these cards. You can also just develop, you can settle, you can do so much with just a couple of cards. So it offers a huge array of just different randomness to the game, and you can produce a different galaxy every time you play it, and just there's different opportunities with this game. So Race for the Galaxy is just simply, I had to be put on my 10 by 10 challenge because I just love playing this game and I wanted to play it more. So right now I have only 4 plays this year, so that's not so good. I thought like by this time I would have a lot more plays, but apparently I need to play this game even more often. So definitely I'm going to play Race for the Galaxy a lot more since I only have played it 4 times this year. So there you go. So Orleans is another game that I also added to my 10 by 10 challenge. It's a 2 to 4 player game and it plays in about an hour and a half. The reason that I picked Orleans was because I fell in love with it the first time I played it. The reason that I fell in love with it is because it plays like no other game that I have. It has this one bag drafting that I've never seen any other game have. Basically what you're doing is you're building like a deck building mechanic, but you're building it with workers. You have a bag and you're putting workers into the bag and then you're mixing them all up and you're drawing from that. So you know what you're adding into the bag. You don't know what you're getting out, and whatever you get out, you're trying to place them on your personal board in order to accomplish certain things on the main board. That main board has area control. It has a different track where you can gain influence or scholars or anything else. This game is just huge. There's a lot of play. The thing that I really enjoyed about this is that you start at the same place as your opponent does. But because of that bag mechanic where you're drawing and you're dealing with what you get, it changes the game every time you play. Every time you play this game, it's always different. You can always strategize one way or another, but it's always based upon what you're drawing from the bag. or what you're putting into it as well. So you have a lot of opportunities to change the strategy. This is called a sandbox game. So I really wanted to experiment with that and just kind of see and learn what I can do with this game. So that's one of the reasons why I picked Orleans on my 10 by 10 challenge. Now, right now I have 5 plays of Orleans this year, which is great because it's at that halfway point since we're in June. So we're moving along with Orleans, and I really can't wait to get this more on the table. Alright, so Viticulture is another game that I've added to my 10 by 10 list, and it's the Essential Edition, meaning that it also has a couple of the expansions from Tuscany, and I also added the More Visitors expansion here too. So it's a 1 to 6 player game, and it plays in about an hour to an hour and a half. Not only that, but it's also a game about having your own vineyard and growing your own wine and selling it off too. So visitors come along and they go ahead and purchase different grapes, different wine from you, or they give you certain actions that help produce and promote your vineyard as well. So this game is just, the theme of it is just what really intrigued me. That's why I wanted to add it to my 10 by 10 list. I wanted to get better with it as well. And also I wanted to have a really good game that I can drink a glass of wine with too. So that's Viticulture, and that's why I added it to my list. It's a great worker placement. So it's so far I have 3 out of 10 plays. So I need to play this game a lot more if I wanted to complete this 10 by 10 challenge with this game in it too. So yep, I need to play it a lot more, maybe drink a lot more too. Another game that I added to my list is Pandemic Legacy Season 1. Now this game is a 2 to 4 player game, and it's supposed to play in about an hour. But this game is best played if you're playing with the same group of people. So myself and Mitch, we both decided that this is the one game that we're going to play for this year, and it's just going to be us two. Now, what is Pandemic Legacy? In case you haven't heard, it's a game where it plays in the course of a year. So from January you start, and then you progress through December. What you're doing along that time is humanity is being invaded by disease. So we're losing people, and they're dying off, and different cities in the world are just suffering, and they're gonna develop disease, and they're just gonna cause riots, and there's so much stuff that's just going on in the world that you're trying to kind of stop. You're trying to find a cure for these diseases, you know, by using scientists and researchers. You're trying to set up military groups and trying to block certain areas, and you're trying to communicate better with one another. There's different characters in this game. And the simple thing is, with this game, it evolves. But from month to month, things are changing in the rules. Things are changing in the way that you're playing. So this game is just something that Mitch and I, we both decided is a game that us two can play with and just kind of evolve in this game, and also evolve throughout the year with these games that we're both playing. So that's why it was added to my 10 by 10 challenge. And right now, we've played it 8 times, and we're stuck in July right now. So we're right in that middle ground right now. Even though we've played it 8 times, this game is not over until we've reached December. So even if we've played it 10 times or more, this game is not going to be done until we complete that December mark. And that's what we're planning to do. So Pandemic Legacy. The next game I'll talk to you about is Eminent Domain. Now, Eminent Domain is a game by Seth Joff, and it's produced by Tasty Minstrel Games. So it's really well-produced game. And also it plays 2 to 4 players within 45 minutes. Now, this game is a deck building game. So there's a lot of cards involved. And in this game, what you're doing is you're building your deck, and you're actually making it concentrated towards a certain direction, whether it being military based or whether it being a production machine, where you're building resources on different planets, and you're pretty much turning them in for victory points and just expanding through the universe. Just like Race for the Galaxy, you're collecting different planet cards, and you're kind of getting better at certain things throughout the game. So what I did actually is I made this insert to hold all the cards in Eminent Domain from both the base game, and also I have both expansions in it too. So I have the Exotica expansion that came out recently and the Escalation expansion. So what this game offers is just, it's a huge game in this box. It offers a lot of roll cards, where that's where you're basically building your deck with these cards. And every now and then you'll collect some technology cards, which will help you improve your deck throughout the play. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to expand the universe, or your galaxy, by collecting these different planets. So you can collect these different planets by either through military, or you can collect them also through through colonization. So for example, if you want to settle this planet, you can attack them with 6 ships, or you can colonize them with 3 colonization cards. So it offers a variability, and then once you turn it, it'll offer you, like, this planet will give you a certain bonus, or sometimes certain, like, resources or something like that. The really cool thing about this game that I found is that it offers a lot of variability. So I'm supposed to play this game 10 times this year, but I could see myself just learning so much from each individual game, because every game is different, because there's so many cards and so many paths to victory. So that's why I really added this game to my 10 by 10 challenge, because there's so many ways to just develop and win. So I wanted to explore that. So yep, so far I have played this game 6 times this year. So I'm well above the halfway mark, which is great. So yeah, I highly recommend Eminent Domain. If you haven't played it yet, you should definitely search for this game and try to get it played if you can. Alright, the last game I'll talk to you about is Caylus by William Attia. It plays 2 to 5 players, and it plays in about 1 to 2 hours. Now, the reason we added this game is because it's one of the more complex games we added to the list. It might not seem so because there's not that many items in here, but there's a lot of strategy to this game. So it's a little bit harder to figure out. And that's why we added it, because we wanted to get better and we wanted to figure out these different strategies with this game. Now, it is an official board game. It does have a huge board. I'll show you. But in this game itself, what you're doing is there's a king who's developing his kingdom, his castle. And of course, different workers are flocking to the city of, or developing city of Caylus, and they're helping to build this castle. And along the way, they're building different cities. They're developing, so you'll get different tiles, and you'll be placing these different tiles along the way. So once you place these different tiles, you can get your worker, and you can place it there, and it'll activate. So it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. You're going to develop a lot more cities. You're going to get a lot more options throughout the game where to place your cities. But the thing with this game is you have to do things one at a time along the path. So first you're going to do this, then you're going to do this, and you're going to do this. So if you're going to purchase a city, or a building, I mean, if you're going to purchase a building, you're going to have to make sure that you have the appropriate resources at that point to build the city. So if you need, say for example, some wood and some stone to build a building, you're going to have to make sure you have those resources beforehand and not afterwards, because you won't be able to build it if you're collecting the resources afterwards. Another interesting thing with this game is that every time you place a worker, you're not just placing the worker, you have to pay the worker to do stuff. So you have to make sure you're managing your money throughout the game. So you got to make sure you have enough money to pay the workers to build things or to collect resources and such. So it's a really great game. The way it develops differently every time I play it. You can try to it's a really cutthroat game. So it's a game that you can play with one other person or a couple other people and just really like get mean about it with this game. Yeah, so I really enjoy playing this one. So far with Caylus, we have played this game only twice this year. So we're really bad and behind with this game. So we need to definitely pick up the pace with Caylus if we want to complete the 10 by 10 challenge. So unfortunately, it's a little bit more difficult to just introduce to someone someone new, but we've been enjoying it as a 2-player game. I really want to experience it with more. So hopefully we'll get to play it with more people since we have to play at least 8 more times this year. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video of my 10 by 10 challenge of these games that I picked and kind of going over like each one of them, why I picked them, what is intriguing about them for me, and also how far along I am with this challenge. So I'm kind of actually curious if you are also participating in this 10 by 10 challenge, if you've heard of it before, and what games you're playing. If you're not participating, and if you're still interested, you could still do it. We're only through half of the year, so you could still add some games if you're interested. I'll leave the BGG link below, where you can get more information on this challenge. Also, if you like this video, if you want to leave a comment, feel free to do that. And if you want to see more like this, just go ahead and subscribe. You can also find me on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and also meeplezincluded.com. So I'll leave all the information down below. And yeah, so thanks for watching, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.